Go look at the sky. Really look at it. You might be able to count a few thousand stars up there. Now think about this. Almost every single one of those stars has worlds going around it. Planets, just like ours, except completely different. Some are rocky, some are gas giants, some are frozen. We'll never visit most of them in our lifetime, probably never in human history, but a few of them, just a few, are so extreme, so violent, and so flat-out impossible looking that when scientists found them, their first reaction was that something was wrong with the data. Tonight, we're going to 10 of those places. A planet getting swallowed alive by its star, a world so black it barely reflects any light at all, and a planet with rings so huge they'd cover most of our inner solar system. This isn't a movie. NASA confirmed every single one of these, and we're about to go visit all of them. On a January night in 1992, two radio astronomers announced they had found the first planets ever discovered outside our solar system. It should have been one of the great, triumphant moments in the history of science. Instead, it was quietly unsettling, because the planets they found were not orbiting a star like our sun. They were orbiting a corpse, a dead, collapsed stellar remnant spinning 161 times every second, sweeping the space around it with beams of radiation lethal to anything we would recognize as chemistry, let alone life. The very first worlds we ever found beyond our solar system were, by any reasonable definition, dead worlds orbiting a dead star. And in the 3 decades since, as our telescopes have grown sharper and our methods more precise, we have found thousands more planets. Some of them are stranger than that first discovery. Some of them are worse. Tonight, we are going to visit the most disturbing of them, a world where it rains molten iron, a planet that has been skinned alive, and worlds so cold, so dark, and so utterly alone that they force us to reconsider what a planet even is. 640 light-years from Earth, there is a gas giant called WASP 76b, and on one half of it, the sky rains metal. WASP 76b orbits its star at a distance so small that a full year lasts just 1.8 Earth days. It is tidally locked, one hemisphere facing its star permanently, and that hemisphere reaches temperatures of around 2,400 degrees Celsius. At that heat, iron does not exist as a solid. It does not even exist as a liquid. It vaporizes. The dayside atmosphere of WASP 76b carries iron the way Earth's atmosphere carries water vapor, as an invisible gas suspended in the air. And then the winds take over. Ferocious currents sweep that iron vapor around the planet toward the night side, where the temperature drops by nearly 1,000 degrees. And in that cooler air, the iron does exactly what water vapor does when it hits cold air on Earth. It condenses, it forms droplets, and it falls. In 2020, astronomers using the espresso instrument on the Very Large Telescope in Chile detected the signature of this directly. Iron vapor present on the evening edge of the planet, absent on the morning edge, because somewhere in the darkness between the two, it had rained out of the sky, liquid metal, falling through the night, on a world where the forecast has been identical for millions of years. Most planets have the decency to be consistent. Whatever conditions they have, they keep. HD 80606b does not. This gas giant, around 200 light-years away, has the most eccentric orbit of almost any planet ever confirmed. Its path around its star is not a circle. It is a long, stretched ellipse, closer in shape to the orbit of a comet than a planet. For most of its 111-day year, it drifts through relative calm at a distance not far from where Venus orbits our Sun, and then it falls. In the final stretch of its orbit, HD 80606b plunges inward, swinging past its star at a distance 10 times closer than Mercury gets to ours. When the Spitzer Space Telescope watched one of these close passes in 2009, it recorded something no one had ever measured on any world. The planet's atmospheric temperature rose from around 500 degrees Celsius to over 1,200 degrees in roughly 6 hours. 6 hours. The energy dumped into the atmosphere during that plunge triggers storms on a planetary scale, shock waves of superheated gas erupting from the star-facing side and tearing around the globe at thousands of kilometers per hour. And then the planet swings back out into the cold and begins to recover, drifting quietly outward, cooling, stabilizing, until The orbit brings it back, every 111 days, forever. A world locked in a cycle of trauma it can never escape. Its entire existence organized around the next fall. 30 light years from Earth, close enough to be practically a neighbor, there is a planet covered in ice that does not melt at 400 degrees. Gliese 436b is a Neptune-sized world orbiting a small red dwarf, and everything about its composition suggests it holds enormous quantities of water, but its surface temperature sits at around 440 degrees Celsius. Water at that temperature should be steam. It should have boiled away long ago. It hasn't, because on Gliese 436b, pressure wins. The planet's gravity compresses its deep water layers so violently that the molecules are physically forced into a solid lattice, crushed into exotic crystalline structures that scientists call hot ice. Ice that burns. Ice that would sear your hand, held solid not by cold, but by force. And the strangeness does not stop there. In 2015, Hubble observations revealed that the planet's upper atmosphere is boiling off into space, forming a colossal cloud of hydrogen that trails behind it in orbit. The cloud is enormous, vastly larger than the planet itself. Gliese 436b is not just a planet. It is a planet with a tail, streaming through space like a comet the size of Neptune, slowly exhaling itself into the void. There is a planet 730 light-years away that should not be possible to see, not because it is hidden, but because what we are looking at is supposed to be buried. TOI 849b is around 40 times the mass of Earth, compressed into a body only slightly larger than Neptune's core, orbiting its star in just 18 hours. That combination of size and mass makes it one of the densest planets ever found, and it points to a conclusion published in the journal Nature in 2020 that is difficult to sit with. TOI 849b appears to be the naked core of a gas giant. A planet like Jupiter is mostly atmosphere, a rocky heart wrapped in tens of thousands of kilometers of hydrogen and helium. TOI 849b has almost none of that envelope. Either it never managed to gather one, which the models struggle to explain at that mass, or it once had one and lost it, stripped away by its star's radiation, or torn off in some catastrophic event in the system's past. What orbits that star today may be the exposed interior of a world, the part of a planet no one is ever supposed to see, circling its star every 18 hours, like an open wound that never closed. Which brings us back to where this story started. The pulsar PSRB 1257+12 sits about 2,300 light-years from Earth, and it is what remains after a massive star died in a supernova, an explosion that should have vaporized or ejected everything orbiting it. And yet, in 1992, astronomers Alexander Volschon and Dale Frail found 3 planets there, the first exoplanets ever confirmed. The prevailing explanation is that these are not survivors. They are children of the catastrophe, formed afterward from a disk of debris left by the explosion, worlds assembled from the wreckage of a dead star orbiting its collapsed remnant. That remnant spins 161 times per second and pours out beams of intense radiation. Any atmosphere those planets have is being continuously scoured by particle winds, unlike anything in our solar system. When astronomers eventually gave these worlds official names, they did not reach for gods or explorers. They named them Draugr, Poltergeist, and Phobator, an undead creature from Norse legend, a malevolent spirit, the Greek personification of nightmares. Scientists are not typically a dramatic group. For these worlds, they made an exception. And then there is the other extreme. Not fire, not radiation. Absence. In 2006, using a technique called gravitational microlensing, astronomers detected a planet more than 21,000 light-years away, one of the most distant ever found. OGLE-2005-BLG-390LB is a rocky world about 5.5 times the mass of Earth, orbiting a dim red dwarf at a distance where that feeble star provides almost nothing. Its estimated surface temperature is around -220 degrees Celsius, cold enough that if it has an atmosphere, most of it has likely frozen solid and fallen to the ground. nitrogen as frost, carbon dioxide as rock. Astronomers nicknamed it Hoth, after the ice planet from Star Wars, but the comparison is generous. Hoth had a breathable atmosphere. This world is a silent sphere of frozen chemistry, orbiting a star that can barely warm it, in a part of the galaxy we will never visit, glimpsed once through a trick of gravity-bending light, and in all likelihood never to be observed by human instruments again. We know it exists. We saw it for a matter of days, and that is all we will ever have. But the most disturbing planets we have found may be the ones that are not orbiting anything at all. Microlensing surveys over the past decade have detected something the models predicted, but almost no one had internalized: rogue planets, worlds with no star, ejected from their birth systems by gravitational violence early in their histories, thrown out into interstellar space to drift alone in permanent darkness. And they are not rare. Some recent studies suggest that free-floating planets in our galaxy may number in the trillions, that worlds without suns could outnumber the stars themselves. Think about what that means. For every point of light you can see in the night sky, there may be multiple entire planets out there in the black between them. No sunrise, ever, no year, because there is nothing to orbit. Surface temperatures a few degrees above absolute zero unless internal heat intervenes. Some of them may even carry subsurface oceans, kept liquid by their own radioactive warmth, sealed under kilometers of ice, sailing through the void, carrying who knows what. They pass through the galaxy silently, invisibly, and in numbers we are only beginning to grasp. The galaxy is not just full of solar systems, it is full of orphans. Every world we visited tonight is real, confirmed, measured, published, rain made of iron, ice that burns, planets named after nightmares, orbiting the corpse of a star. We used to wonder whether other worlds existed at all. Now we know the truth is stranger. They exist in numbers beyond counting, and the universe builds them with an indifference to our comfort that is, in its own way, the most disturbing discovery of all. If this video kept you watching, hitting the like button genuinely helps YouTube show it to more people who would appreciate it. And subscribe if you want to be here for the next one, because next time we are going to talk about the stars themselves and the ones astronomers have found that behave in ways no star